Have you ever looked at a real estate deal and thought, I don't want to mess this up? Or said, I just need to think about it a little longer and then watch someone else get the deal? That's not a deal problem. That's a money thinking problem. Tonight, we're not going to use tactics first. We're talking about how you think about money before the deal even shows up. So, how you guys doing tonight? Stacy, Brandy?
Woo!
Also,
Great.
good evening.
I know you have some birthday had some birthdays this week. Stacy, it's your birthday today, right?
Yes, sir.
And
You see
Brandy,
how we're
yours
both
was.
wearing black? It's our birthday week. We're both wearing black. I mean,
Capricorns.
man, I don't know what to tell you.
It's
We got
greatness in the building.
Well, I'm a Sagittarius, so that's I feel like that's great. The best. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it because I have a lot of good questions for you both. You know, you guys both been in the real estate field for a long time. So, Brandy, we're going to open up with you. Brandy, you work with a lot of people early in their real estate journey. So, what's the biggest money mistake you see beginners make before the first deal?
I think that the initial mistake in investing in general that beginners make is that they think that their personal finance mistakes won't come into their business finance management or stewardship, right? So, however they manage their personal finances is usually how they're going to manage their business financing, and business financing, and even like project management requires a lot of detail. It we call it like time management in your life. You might be late paying a bill, but you might not pay maybe a late fee or something. But in project management and flipping and real estate investing, holding costs is just a huge impact on the total profit bottom line, right? And so you could just diminish your profit by delaying payments or delaying timelines, etc. So I think just people coming into this space and thinking, oh, I don't have to be perfect in managing my personal finances, right? I can just come over here and I'll be better at business finances just because I want to be, just because, right? It's just a magic trick happens and I change all of my bad financial habits, right? And it's just not true.
So I can piggyback corporate term, piggyback off of that what you just said. So
Yeah.
timelines are very important. So especially being in project management or just in the environment where you have hard deadlines to meet, and
Yes.
those things are very important. You can see if something goes over a deadline that it's going to be you're not going to go into the negative, but you will start losing money fast because now, if you are working, let's say in software, and you're supposed to meet a deadline, now your users may not be having accessibility quick enough, and then that causes them to go to another platform.
Yep.
So you're losing money really fast.
Absolutely.
So
So
I
true.
can agree to that. So Stacy, same question for you. What do you see when you are helping someone get into real estate? What's the first mistakes they make before getting a deal closed?
Really, is she hit the nail on the head. When it comes to real estate, people look at it as early on. They look at it as a fix for their finances versus I need to learn finances. I need to learn economics. I need to improve how I look at money and how I spend it.
Hmm.
Um, before getting into it versus thinking that a good flip or a good deal is going to solve your problems. It's not. It's going to compound them actually if you don't have a mindset that I need to fix my financial habits. So that's how I think about that.
Yep. That's good.
And they say the way you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yep.
So jumping into real estate without being better internally with everything that you're doing, you're just going to translate that energy into doing everything bad in real estate as well if you're doing things bad in your personal life. Brandon, you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think, I mean, I think this is the top issue that most people can, and I think anytime people are trying to get into something where they're going to make decisions around investing, right? It's a mindset change, right? And stewardship and management and executing your goals and being disciplined, all that stuff plays into how you manage your money, right? Like your money is a byproduct. Like having money is a byproduct of all the other things that you've established in your life to be set up. Whatever goals, whatever plans, whatever disciplines that you've set up, your finances, your family, your job, your career, your investments, all are a byproduct of those decisions that you've made prior to jumping into anything.
And that's a good segue into the next question. How does fear around money usually show up when someone is analyzing a deal?
Oof. I'm gonna let Stacy go first.
Uh,
Live.
again, so if I had to, in a nutshell, I think the fear around money would be, they would be more hesitant to pull the trigger on a good deal, because they're looking at I think they lack the confidence and the competence, the information to analyze. Well, they have the information. A lot of times they'll have the information or even the competence, but it's the confidence.
Yeah.
Um, and they just lack the confidence to pull the trigger and to get it done. So, fear, I think when you replace information and knowledge with fear, you're more likely to just to get past that hump, you know?
Yep.
So
That's good. I agree. I think that um I think that confidence is what I coach more on confidence than I coach on anything else. I mean, confidence, I'm going to do a free challenge at the end of the month. I could tell everything I know, but that challenge is not going to make someone go and do what they desire to do. My one-on-one students are the most successful because I'm with them, pushing them through and saying, you can do this. We're going to do it this way. This is how we're going to do it. So I think just confidence is key. And I think a lot of people feel more confident when they have someone that they can rely on. They have a coach. They have people they can ask questions to. But I think another thing that I think hinders a lot of people is the fear of money. Is like what we do costs a lot of money. I think people are like, buy it took everything for me to buy my house I live in, buy another house and then another. I mean, you tell someone like I have like 8 houses right now, probably, or 9. I don't even know how many. I would have to count. But just the idea of carrying those houses in one, people would just be like, that's crazy. That's insane, right? And I just think the whole idea of buying multiple properties and then the idea of spending that much money every month on a mortgage, the fear is something they just never experienced before. Like it's like there's no way I could do that. And then you could, like Stacy said, you could give them the best numbers, and this is a no-brainer. You're gonna win no matter what. And it's like, but am I worthy of that thing? Am I worthy of that good thing that you're telling me about? Like, am I worthy of being out of this circumstance? Like, do I even deserve to be in a better place? I want to be there. But when I see the other people that are there, I don't feel like I'm like those people. I think that's a big hindrance.
And I think it's all about the company you keep as well. I was just having a conversation with my wife yesterday about negative people draining your spirit just because they feel like it's impossible. That puts self-doubt in you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you let too many people tell you like, "Oh, that's you're crazy to even be thinking about buying something like that or trying to get into that." But it's just their fear of failure, and if you listen to them enough, then you'll start thinking that way. But if you surround yourself with other people they think opposite of that, then you'll be more confident in going into the deal.
Yep.
And My coaching is a little different. I implement systems in every aspect of life and business and things like that. And what I've seen is people need to be managed. That's
Yes.
why it's one-on-ones that work better for your students because you're there to kind of give them confidence and help them execute.
Yeah.
Just like me, like I like building out roadmaps. Stacy will tell you I build out a lot of roadmaps and send a lot of information because when you don't have a vision of where you're going, you're just wondering.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I get off my soapbox. I just
It's
it's
true.
I'll add one more thing to that: repetition. Like repetition with running the numbers and just analyzing, going through the MLS or your distro list that you're getting from your wholesalers and just running those numbers, just repeatedly running them. And after a while, the numbers will start to speak for themselves. It's one of those, okay, on this one, the numbers were this. This is looks way better. So I think after seeing that so many times and seeing those numbers so many times, eventually you'll get the confidence to say, okay, well, if the numbers were not in my favor on this deal, it probably was a bad deal. This is actually a very good deal compared to that one. So that repetition will help build
Yeah,
confidence.
I agree. That's so true.
and that spawned another thought. This is not on my question list, but can bad deals help you progress?
You
Like,
mean no, no,
no,
no.
I'm just
Analyzing bad deals, yes. Closing, executing, no, 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 no. I'm not even going to try to make that free.
okay.
Bad
Just
deal, where's that?
Don't do it. Now, I mean, it not ever happening is impossible, right? So I tell all my students, there are going to be times when the outcome was not what you expected, but it only is a loss when you didn't learn anything.
Right.
If you didn't learn anything, then you paid for nothing.
Right.
So you are in a deficit. You didn't learn, and now you can't prevent yourself from repeating it. So that's the biggest L you can take.
Yeah.
so that's a we could get into that more, but I have another question that aligns with like the mental shift. So what mental shift has to happen before someone is actually ready to invest for the first time?
I mean, that's a tough question for me. I guess someone definitely needs to understand what's happening in the process of flipping or buying or developing. I think that there are stages of understanding though. There are different types of knowledge, but all of the things come together, right? So like what me and Stacy do, they're very similar, right? And you could take different directions and have a different result, right? So you could build a new home, or you could remodel a home, or you could buy land and develop the land. So there's different things you can produce from the knowledge of understanding real estate. And I think that foundation is what people need first. So just understanding real estate, and then becoming familiar with what exit strategy are you interested in even being involved with.
Yep.
Hey Stacey, I see you nodded your head over there. What you got?
Absolutely, absolutely. Instant gratification. That's the mindset that has to shift.
Yeah.
That's is nothing. There are some deals. There's some strategies that you can move pretty fast and put significant funds in the bank account. But overall, for longevity in the game, you got to just shift your mind from instant gratification because it will disappoint you at how slow, even though to someone who's been doing it for a while, it was timely or it took the time it should. But to someone who's new to it and um, watch HGTV too much, they're looking at that instant. They're looking for instant gratification. They're looking for the plumber to come in and get everything done in 8 hours. They're looking for the framers to get everything done in 8 hours. They're looking for the electrician. They're looking at the realtor. They're looking at everybody involved from start to finish to get things done real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't happen like that. So you just got to shift your mind from wanting things instantly to slowing down and just being due diligence, just paying attention to every single step and developing a system for those things that you just have no control over. You know.
And Brandy, I think I've heard you say before journaling, like journaling your process um on your way to your first deal or even every deal really.
Mhm.
And then I think writing things down and putting things down into either a notepad or in a spreadsheet or Microsoft Word, whatever the case may be, if you are writing these things down, you can always refer back and you can read over them after that deal, and then it'll start coming naturally. That's
Yeah.
how that's what I believe anyway. Um, but yeah, Brittany, you have anything to say? Because I feel like you wanted to say something earlier, but
No,
I think
I
I
was just
cut you
gonna.
off.
No, you're good. I was just gonna add journaling. I think that most professional, like doctors, attorneys, when they go to like high level PhDs, they always encourage them to journal. And one tip from me that I learned is that I journaled a lot when I started because I didn't know anything. I was always trying to track what I was doing, and I wanted to use that as an example the next time. And the next time when after I had done so many flips, I didn't journal as much. Like I had like spreadsheets and all this stuff because I was managing multiple flips. But what I noticed was I spent more money on the projects because I wasn't journaling. And the journaling process for me was like a time when I just said, what am I buying? And what do I want to spend? And what do I want to profit? Right. And it was like, this is why I'm here. This is the vision of this project. Whereas, when I do my spreadsheets and all those things, I have that, but it's more so like it's more like a duty, a task versus it being a vision that I do in the journaling process. So I think journaling is kind of when you take that time to just sit back and say, what do I want to accomplish with this action that I'm about to put forth?
I love it.
100% agree. Like that's a nugget
That's a
right there.
gem.
That's a gem right there. That's major.
They should have paid
And
this.
speaking
I'm saying.
and speaking of journaling, so I have a journaling hack. It's called
Mm,
Jira. We use this in software development, but you can use it in everything. I actually put all of our lives in this, right? And the reason you do this is to go back to inspect and adapt. So think about one project and you are having, and it takes 3 months to do, right? And every 2 weeks you go back and review what you did well, what went poorly, and how you can get better. Then you take actions out of it, and you
mm,
put it in this document hub called Confluence,
mm,
and you put the dates on it. Now you put the dates on all of that. Now at the end of the project, instead of like going flipping through a whole bunch of papers, you can go look at every date that you put in Confluence and review over each thing that you did in those 2 weeks. So just a nugget for everyone watching.
I love it. I love it. I'm so bad at doing things on the computer though. Wow. I just have to turn that paper. It's something about the paper turning. I don't know what it is. I wanted to commit to his idea, but I can't do it. I know it's gonna be terrible. I know it's like that journal had me on the lock. I'm like, look at this. I mean, just so y'all know, I do what I say. This is my 26 journal. I'm locked in already. I'm ready.
All right, well, we could go to the next question. Unless Stacey, you have anything else you want to add to that?
Nothing to add. Not this time.
All right. So, how do beginners confuse being careful with actually being stuck? Being
Mm,
careful versus being stuck.
When we take that one, I got
yeah,
you on that one.
go for it.
Being stuck. So this is something I heard in my youth, but then I heard it reiterated early on in the army. Is sometimes it's best just to do something. You know, maybe that being stuck is you're making no decisions. You're not even evaluating. You're not digging into the numbers. You're not going on site. You're just kind of just thinking about it. You're stuck versus making a decision, making a hard decision and living with it. I mean, I'm not saying go buy the house or buy the property, but like at least get the ball rolling in one direction or another. If you're leaning towards buying it, well, get the ball rolling on talking to your lenders, your contractors before you even go under contract with it. If you're leaning towards not buying, well, why are you leaning towards not buying? Is it too high? If the price is too high, hey, start negotiating.
Yeah.
So it's just doing if there's the goal is to after you if you identify a potential project is to figure out how to get to a yes. That's how I think about it. Is how can I get to a yes? And as I hit those roadblocks, is what do I need to do to remove that no and get to a yes? So just making action one way or another. It's a good deal or it's not a good deal, but you know what? I'm gonna try to make the seller make it a good deal for me.
Mm-hmm.
You want 400? I give you 250.
I got 250 right now, hot and ready.
Hey, let's go. Yes or no? Take action.
All right, Brandy, let's go back to you.
I think that I can say a lot of things. I think people stall. Well, we said this earlier too. It's a good deal. You've done the numbers. We've told you what the numbers are. We trained you. We've coached you. Confidence can make people stall and stop because they just don't believe that they can carry it out. You know what I'm saying? Which also just gets people into a position of being stuck. And I mean, we talked about it when we started. Mindset is like the biggest hurdle. I mean, when people see other people in different places, it's because their mind has shifted. I mean, like every single one of us could go down to like $1,000 next week. But there's so much in our mind, and there's so many people that we know that we're connected with, like our relationships, our networking, like we would just go make more. I mean, we would just make the money again. Right? It's like we have so many tools now that we can use to make the money again. So it's not about how much money you have. It's about what you know, and are you willing to do what you know to make more money or to get you to where you want to be. There's no way there's no way at this point I could. If I had $5, I would make money. I'm not going to hold you. I would borrow money from people and then keep going the same way. I would do it again. I would repeat it.
Yeah, and that $5, because you can go buy, like, you have to be creative about what you have,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I think a lot of people don't have that creativity and they just want to give up because you have in your brain that you have already given up on multiple things. So that compounds. But if
Mm-hmm.
you have fought through multiple things and came out on the other side, you're like, oh, this ain't nothing. I'm gonna just figure this out.
Yep.
I got this. So let me go buy some pens. Let me buy a whole bunch of pens for $5 and sell them
Yep.
all for $1.
Yep.
And then we know because we don't want instant gratification that money is going to compound. And then I'm going to buy more pens or move to the next thing to buy.
Yep.
I used to joke with one of my friends all the time. I said, drug dealers have the most success because they came literally from the bottom up, and then they had to learn marketing. They had to learn so much.
Yep.
But the problem with drug dealers, they get complacent and staying in that same spot. And that's why they go to jail.
Yep.
So I'm not telling anybody to sell drugs. I'm just saying that's what I've learned from knowing, the way that drug dealers move and how they are successful in that field. But that field is just like any other field that you have to step in.
I mean, think about the people that they're selling to, right? They're selling to people that are sick, right? And those people that are sick have to wake up every day and figure out how they're going to go back and buy more drugs to be able to survive, right? They have no money. They do everything in their power to figure out how to find something to sell, anything. And then they convince people to buy stuff that they found, right? So it's literally sales. Like if someone with nothing, no clothes, no food, they don't eat all day just to figure out how to continue to sell to get what they want. They have a goal in mind every day. When they wake up, they have a goal in mind and they reach their goal every day. Every day they reach their goal. Now I'm telling you, you're going to tell me these people have more than you have in your healthy strength body? There's no way.
That's valid. Very valid.
There's no way. That's a mind shift, right? Their mind has been altered, right? So
That's
now
right.
you need to take a healthy mind shift and change your mind and wrap it around what you want for the end of that day or the end of that week or the end of that year, right? Take
I'm gonna say
advantage.
this one last thing. I'm gonna say this one last thing before we move to the next question. Whatever you want, whatever you want, you'll find a way to get it. If you don't find a way to get it, you just don't want it.
That's it.
That's facts.
So let's go to the next question. What would you say to someone who keeps saying, I just don't want to lose money? Stacy, let's go to you first, and then Brandy, let's go back to you.
My initial thoughts, I'm gonna say, I'll be wrong. My initial thoughts was, well, then just let's don't talk too much about this. Then, I get tired of having conversations and just be going nowhere.
Oh,
What we
yeah.
gonna do, you know? um, but I would say numbers, just repetition. So, evaluate the bad deals or evaluate any deal. Just grab a random listing and just run through it, and you'll understand how the numbers break down. Do this. This is something that I've done, and I've done. I did it early on, and I still do it to this day. I keep a running log of deals that I thought were pretty good, but I passed up on them. Then I went back and I looked at over the years how that particular property either sold or was flipped, and I just keep a log of that. So, I mean, maybe revisiting older deals that they passed up on, that would be a
Mhm.
good way to get over that hump. So
That's a great tip. I'm going to use it.
it's I'm telling you, I scroll through my notes because I'm a big on the iPhone notes.
Yep.
Scroll through it and I'll find my note with the addresses in it. And I don't look at it every day or every week or
Right.
every month for that case. But I have them all the way back to 2015, 2016. I'll take those addresses, I'll plug them into Zillow real quick and be like, wow, this house sold for on this date way more than what I even thought it could, or is currently valued at X, Y, and Z based on Zillow, which is not the best tool, but it is a tool.
Yep.
But just revisiting, going back and just revisiting old potential deals that you passed on. That's how you get over that analysis paralysis. That's what I call it, analysis paralysis.
Absolutely. I think that's a good tip. I'm going to actually, I think anytime especially when you're starting out, I think you should always have some type of track of what you passed up on and then be able to go back and that if you have been doing it for a year and you analyze 25 deals and you only flip 2 of them, then go back at the end of that year and look at all those deals. Did they sell? Are they renting now? What did they end up selling the house for? I think that's a superb tip.
Yep.
I'm
All
I'm
right.
supporting his suggestion. I think that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we're coming into the power hour of Stacy, so I want to get some long term investment tips since he is into
Yes.
long term holding. So Stacy, you approach real estate with a long term lens. So you're always thinking of, can I don't even think that you say how long can I hold it. You just say I'm going to hold this property. You probably hold all your properties until you die.
8.5 years is minimum, is the goal. I can't say all, but majority.
So, how do long term investors think about money differently than beginners?
The biggest thing is looking at money as a tool. everybody I know that thinks long term investing is strictly a tool. It's a tool to get to an objective, not a tool to just use from day to day. So for instance, when I look at a certain amount of money, I say, okay, this money over the course of a few years or however long it could reasonably be spent on a day to day basis. I look at, okay, I could buy this instead. I could buy an asset instead that will replace the same exact need on a day to day, month to month, year to year. It's really strictly looking at money as an asset to improve your long-term quality of life versus a tool to buy McDonald's today, in a nutshell. So that's the key, is just being able to really look at it as an asset and a tool, and then understanding the real estate cycle too, because that matters. Everybody knows well, not everybody, but those who's been around long enough or has studied enough knows there's a cycle. You might buy when it's up, and if you're not looking long term, it's going to drop. Like, there's no doubt about it. Real estate is going to go down somewhat. Over the market values will go down at some point. But if you're looking at it as a tool, you're saying to yourself, okay, if and when it goes down, how can I still utilize it? Like, how will it still be beneficial to everything else I have going on? Like, it's literally a part of a bigger system. Like, your money should be a part of a bigger system of assets, and not just money to spend, if that makes sense.
Gotcha, gotcha. And Brandy, I know that you coach flipping, but you are also hold your properties long term as well.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about long term investors versus beginner investors and how they think about money?
I think that when you're starting, you're trying to figure out how much cash you can get your hands on. It's just like, I could buy a house with no money, but then I wouldn't have any money. When I keep it, I'm gonna make $100 a month. What am I gonna do with $100 a month or $200 a month, whatever, right? And then they're like, that can't pay for anything. So then I have a house with $100 a month and I didn't get any money out of it. They're not thinking about that house may have $100,000 of equity, right? With $100,000 of equity, now you can go take $50,000 of equity out and flip at the expense of your renter, right? Another house to make another fee. So if you don't understand how this market works, how real estate works, and how to leverage credit, leverage assets, leverage equity, then you're not going to see the long-term goal anyway, right? I'm literally buying properties and keeping them just so that I can build a portfolio that can profit $1 million or more. And then I'm going to sell the whole thing. I'm not in Stacy's game. I'm not. I have one, build it to $1
Same
million,
game.
sell it.
Same game, different exit
I didn't know
strategy.
you were going to release yours or not. I'm just saying. I am not attached to mine.
Same game, different exit strategy.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That
So I mean,
everything must go.
that's definitely the play, is right, to build a portfolio to have more money there for sure.
Strictly a tool to get to a bigger picture.
Exactly. Faster too. That's
Yep.
what I don't think people take it. I don't think people understand how quickly you can get there
Yep.
with that. It might not be up front, but you can get to $1 million liquid much faster than you thought you could.
Real fast.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to the next question. Why is chasing quick returns so dangerous in real estate?
That's me. So, when you start chasing quick returns, you just neglect the reality of it. The reality is real estate has a level of volatility. The reality is those numbers that you put on paper, those are subject to change at the drop of a dime. So if you start chasing quick returns, um, then you're going to overlook the 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 big picture, or you're going to overlook the fact that you can lose.
Mhm.
So just building in those margins and not being caught looking at how much cash can I make real fast
Yeah.
versus is it a solid deal? Does the numbers make sense? Are the margins there? What is my secondary exit strategy? So here's the other part too. I love the buy and hold, but I always have another exit strategy because life happens real quick. Finances can shift at the drop of a dime. Things happen. Like life just happens. So those exit strategies, if you're looking strictly at, I'm going to make a lot of money on a quick flip, but you're not looking at the fact that okay, if the market shifts real fast on me, can I hold this and still be profitable for the long term? So
Mhm.
it's looking at the big picture and understanding that this isn't it's not a for sure thing. There's a level of speculation. I'm not saying that it's not as speculative as cryptocurrency, but there is a level of speculation. That's with investing in general. I don't care what you're investing in. If you're investing in gold, silver, stocks, crypto, it's all a level of speculation. So if you get caught up in seeing looking at your now and not the bigger picture. Permit delays, that cost, the holding costs accumulate real fast when you have those interest only hard money loans. You'll find yourself in a bad situation if you didn't think about a exit strategy due to the market shifting and you can't sell. So you can't look at instant gratification. You got to get that, got to shift that whole mindset of quickness because it's not going to happen, or it can happen. Let me backtrack. It can happen. I've seen it happen. I've seen some wholesalers make a lot of money real fast. But if you can't, what is my next exit strategy?
Mhm.
So plan for failure, plan for success, but have a backup plan just in case. You know.
Over to you, Brandy.
And B is important. Reiterate the exact question.
Okay. So, how do you? Okay, that's the next question. Sorry. So, why is chasing quick returns
Quick
so
return.
dangerous in ropes? Yeah.
Okay, I feel like what I've experienced from coaching, and I just like to talk about that because that's the beginner, right? Someone that is coming in just like everyone watching. I think what happens is people make decisions based on what they want, and they don't make decisions based on facts,
Yep. Fair.
right? So it's like, and if quick return is what you want for your needs, then it makes the decision more based on desperation. And when you're desperate, you can perceive things incorrectly, right? When you're desperate, a deal might be too tight, but you'll be like, I can make it work, right? And now you're putting hope in yourself to make something that doesn't mathematically make sense work, right?
Mhm.
Because you need cash. It's like, I need to get this money turned over right now. I need to do it by June, but you may not have find it. I think sometimes when people want quick returns, they're looking at success is me doing it really fast. And success is not about speed. Success is about accuracy and the quality of your accuracy, right? Like, how many times were you accurate? Is it quantifiable? Right? Because you can get further faster being accurate. You can make a ton of mistakes and you can get to the same place the other person. It's like the tortoise and the hare, right?
Mhm.
You can have a lot of bumps in the road trying to go fast, or you can just take your time and have less bumps in the road and get there faster. And so I think that's what happens when people want to do something, when they're focused on having a quick return. Just they have desperation, they have the wrong mindset.
And something triggered in my mind when you were speaking, and Stacy, you as well. Markets shifting. A lot of people buy at the wrong time because they are desperate. And I'm not just saying this in real estate, I'm saying this in the stock market as well. And it triggered while you were speaking, Brandy, but it also triggered when Stacy said something about crypto.
Yep.
So people are scared to buy at discounted prices, but they are so quick to buy when things are more expensive because they want that instant, like, oh, it's going to keep going up. But that doesn't even make sense mathematically. Like it has already went up so much, but you don't have the patience to wait for it to come down to get it at a discount price. And now you get a bad taste in your mouth about either real estate stocks or whatever you invested in because you bought at the wrong time trying to have instant gratification. So I just wanted to speak on that because it was like, oh yeah, because and I'm only saying this because I was one of those people that was like, oh, I'm gonna get into this and
Yep.
it's gonna take off, and then it's like it starts crashing, and you're like, what did I do? And now I'm like, it's going up, but it has to come back down somewhat.
Mm-hmm. I like that you said that too. It made me think about how we don't, it seems like with investing, when people have to invest, they are like triggered to buy it high because there's a lot of people with the results. It's like everybody's winning over here. And I could have bought it for $2, but everybody's winning. So I don't care. I'm gonna buy it for 70, right? But like it's like we want to buy the deal for all the other things. Like, if toilet paper and paper towels go on sale, people gonna run to the store and get them, right? But we don't think about that same sale concept when it comes to investing. We're not like, oh, the Tesla stocks dropped 100 points. I need to buy the 100. I need to buy Tesla stocks right now. I need those because they're going to go back up. If toilet paper goes down, you went and bought it cheap because you know that toilet paper is going to go back to its normal price, or paper towels or cleaning products like food, steak, whatever, right? You know you're going to get a deal if you buy it low. It's just interesting to me how we don't have that same mindset when it comes to investing. It's like once we get to investing, it's like, man, that's too high. I can't
Mhm.
do that. Or that's falling. I'm not buying that. Why that's crazy. It dropped crazy. That's gonna take all my money. It's probably gonna drop some more. We don't use those same concepts.
But the higher you go up, the harder you come down. So if it's going down, don't you think it's gonna reverse and go up even higher?
Yep.
Right.
Supply and demand.
All right, so
Supply and demand.
let's go to the next question. So what role does patience actually play in building real wealth? I'm about to say real estate, real wealth through real estate. So I'll say it
Time.
again. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Time.
Repeat that.
Okay, so what role does patience actually play in building real wealth through real estate?
Time. Patience is time. Like you is understanding the bigger picture with the amortization, the debt pay down of having a tenant pay a debt that you owe, the tax advantages, the rent increases, your potential exit strategies according to the market. One may be a refi, one may be a sale, and it may be a sale and reallocating that equity elsewhere to a better deal. So, but all those takes time in the market. You're not really on most whole scenarios, unless you use the bird strategy, which in this market with these interest rates isn't as viable as it used to be. You're not seeing significant. Let me backtrack. If you're good at finding deals, you have a skill set such as a wholesaler, you can still see great numbers up front. But
Mm-hmm.
the average person or the average investor, the average younger, newer to the game investor, you're looking at finding deals that you need to anticipate a 3 to 5 year hold time before you really start to see something of significance. So
Mm-hmm.
time, there's a saying, time in the market is better than timing the market.
Mm. Because
All
you
right,
go through
Brandy,
the
let's go to
cycles,
you.
right? You're going through the cycles. So no matter when you bought it, you're gonna get, just wait for the right cycle to come. You're waiting for the right market cycle. No, I think that was good. I think that's exactly what I would say. I don't really have patience is I think patience is really going to play into what I kind of said on the previous question, right? It's like you're not going to be rushed, right? You're not going to be desperate, and you're going to use the proper calculation and the proper perception and the proper analyzing the deal to be able to get the right success from it. Like I don't think and I think it's repetition. I'm gonna go back to Stacy saying repetition, right? Because it's hard to be patient when you don't even know the time. Like you don't know how long the time frames. You don't know how long something takes to find a deal. You don't know how long the deal takes. You don't even know you're being patient, or you're being anxious. You have no time frame. You have no recollection of anything happening. So I think it's easier for us to know patience because we know timing. But for a new investor, I think timing is more challenging because patience comes from more knowledge and experience. And the more you have repetition, the more experience you have, and then the more patient you become.
And I agree with both of your points. And I have a special question because of what's going on with our president today. So I don't know if maybe you guys have more insight on this. So I saw a post, which I haven't did my research, but it said that Donald Trump was blocking big institutions from buying real estate. So if this is true, how big is that for new real estate investors and why they should get in right now?
The exact terminology was single family homes. That's a difference. Single family homes is typically your houses, maybe a duplex, but houses in general. So
Yeah.
that's way different than your apartment complex, your commercial units. And until I see it, I'm not putting a lot of weight to it. I just don't see it happening. It sounds good in theory, but in practice, not. And I think the cap was 1,000. Like a larger institutional investors, corporations would only be able to own up to 1,000 properties. Well, on paper, one institution may own 1,000, but how many institutions does the owners of that institution own? You see what I'm saying? So I think
Yep.
it's more of a, in theory, it sounds good, but in reality, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. There's too many loopholes, right, to get around so that they can get, even if that came into practice, I think it just benefits him to sound like, he did something to help people get into housing. Good, which that's what a president's job is to do things that the general public think benefit them the most. So that's what he's doing with that call out. But I think in the big scheme of things, they own too much real estate to allow a bill or any type of legislation to pass like that would hinder them from continuing to do what they're going to do forever. And honestly, my brother messaged me about this, which is interesting. Like as soon as it dropped, my brother texted me and he was like, "Hey, what are you going to do?" And I said, "You know what is really cool about this?" I was like, honestly, most of the real estate space is a lot of private money lending. I said, and if they were really, really smart, which they are, because clearly they live off of giving their money to us to reinvest, they would create their own banking system around how to get into 30-year mortgages for people that can no longer lend in this space. They would open up a whole new banking system around helping people get around this legislation, which would make them more money, right? And the barriers that are in place it would be advantageous for them to do it when previously they may not have been interested in doing it. So I was like, yeah, it sounds like a whole new window of banking for private money.
I'll summarize my point on this is if you have if one major institution owns 1,000 single family homes, what's the difference between them owning 1,000 single family homes or them investing in 10 investors with 100 homes?
Yep,
Lending money to 10 investors. What's the difference between them owning it or lending money to 10 investors with 100 homes?
they
In the
still
grand scheme of things, there's no difference.
absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I was like, sounds like some great lending.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
that's it. It's no difference.
So I had to ask the question. That was what was going on
No, that
today.
was great.
My last question before we end the night: what's one long-term money decision you made that didn't feel good at the time, but paid off later?
Okay, so that was just reinvesting cash flow. When you have decent or pretty good cash flowing business assets, and you see money coming in and you can do things with it, it's like, oh wow, I wanted to do this my whole life. I wanted to buy a new vehicle my entire life. I wanted, it's certain things that you just want to do. But having the discipline to say, if I do this, it takes away from my ability to buy another asset, which in 2 or 3 years, that asset will then pay for this thing. So again, it goes back to instant gratification, getting away from I want to instantly buy this thing. Okay, I don't do that. Buy the asset that will later pay for said thing. So for me personally, it was reinvesting cash flow into assets, into real estate. And when I say let me backtrack, assets, equipment has been assets too. I have heavy equipment, etc. So having the money to go splurge, take a vacation, buy a new car, buy whatever I want, and saying, no, don't do that. Buy the assets first. The liabilities can be purchased with the assets.
Absolutely. With the cash flow.
There you go. So,
All right, all right, Brandy. What about you?
I think that I'm more of a, I think I've done that definitely, using cash flow and using profits from deals, and reinvesting them. I mean, I reinvest literally almost everything. Like I don't, I'm not, I'm not crazy liquid because as soon as I'm liquid, I'm going to put it somewhere to work. I'm literally putting it to work. I just have enough to make sure, and my expenses are low because I don't live like a flashy life. My car is paid off. My house is probably the most expensive that most money I'm going to spend. But it's also a business strategy, right? Because in business, you have to spend money in some places. Otherwise, you're going to, pay our president the money. He's doing a lot of renovations, and he doesn't mind paying him the money to finish his renovations. And
gotcha.
I don't have any interest in doing that. But I think that the biggest one was like buying a house for my mom. That was the biggest one, right? It wasn't cars. It was none of that stuff. It was like I found a deal at a great price. I could rehab it for a low cost, and I could buy my mom a house. And I was like, okay, now you're making decisions with money that you have that will benefit you and other people. And when your money can overflow to other people, I think that's like the biggest reward. The biggest reward. Because I mean, what are we doing it for, really? At the end of the day, like you're doing it for your family, you're doing it for legacy, you're doing it for your future. Otherwise, we'd just be taking trips and buying cars and buying stuff and buying jewelry, and then what?
Be a mirror.
What I like to ask people is, what is your why?
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing anything, you have to know your why,
You have
or
to.
you're not going to continue doing it. I know we're right at time. We got a minute left. So what I'm hearing from both of you is that money problems in real estate usually start before the numbers. They start in how you be and how people think. not
Absolutely.
before the numbers, how people think. So, is there anything that you guys want to say before we end the call? Brandy, I know you got a challenge coming up. Stacey, I know it's your birthday. So, Brandon, you want to talk about your challenge, and then Stacey, we could end with some closing remarks from you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I have a challenge January 26th through the 30th. It is super affordable. You can go to Flip It with Brandy on Instagram, and in my bio, you can go to the link. It's called Flip to Cash. It's going to be an opportunity. I'm going to teach live for a week, and I'm going to teach at lunchtime. So I know everybody has their little 2026 resolutions, and they're going to be eating all their like healthy food at lunch because everybody wants to lose 15 pounds or 20 or 10, right? So while you're eating your salad, come watch me teach you how to change your mind to have an investor's mindset, how to become a better steward of your money, how to learn how to buy properties and find properties and finance them. And I'm just going to give as much juice as I can in the time I have, 5 hours in 1 week, and then I'll give you an opportunity to join my coaching program if you're interested in flipping in real estate. And that's it. Well, I'll be there June. I keep saying June, January 26th through the 30th. I don't know why I want to be in June. It's too cold. Thank you.
January 26th through the 30th.
Yes.
Always, always. Stacey, you have anything you want to put out before we end the call? I know it's your birthday, so I don't want to hold you up from that seafood play.
Nah, just I want to double back on this. This thing is a marathon, and really sometimes along the marathon you get it can be boring. It could feel boring. The information can get monotonous. It could get repetitive. But the only way to really learn or be able to run a marathon is you have to just run. You have to run miles and miles, miles and miles and miles. You can sit and read about it, or you could talk about it, but you really have to get out there and beat feet on the pavement to really run the marathon. And that's what real estate is. It's a marathon.
All right, thanks, Stacey. So I'll end with this. We are going live every Wednesday at the same time. These lives are public until the week.
Uh-oh.
So the Skool community is free. I think we have 6 seats left, free seats. So if you do want to join the Skool community and learn about real estate, get in contact with Stacy and Brandy. They're in the Skool community. If you want to learn how to execute in business, fitness, or if you even want to just strengthen your faith, we have that all in the Skool community. So again, join the Skool community and make your life better. Thank you.